So I'm pleased to really say that something big happened last week, and that is the percentage of positive cases decreased below 5%. In fact, at the clinic last week, it was 2.9%. That has not happened since last year's summer. So that's a big milestone that we've seen. We've also seen that in the state overall, it's dropped down to 6%, and it looks like it's in a downward trend still. So that's all good news for us. I think the university has learned a lot of things. Number one, that as a group, we are flexible, that we are able to pivot and make changes relatively rapidly, and that a lot of our decisions were not based on just emotion or snap decisions. They were well thought out, and I think that's why we didn't lock down the university and do other things like some institutions did. We did not need to furlough people. We did not need to have people laid off, any of those things. It was a very well thought out set of decisions. I, again, credit the university's leadership and the entire team that worked with them towards making those kinds of decisions. At this point in time, I'll say vaccine distribution is going as well as can be expected. We've given out over 11,000 total doses. Everyone who needed to have a second vaccine done by us were all invited to get their second vaccine done. The only ones that didn't get it are those who decided not to get a second vaccine. And some of them had legitimate medical reasons. Others had to delay their vaccine because they developed COVID in the interim. But everybody who needed to get their second dose should have been invited, should have had the opportunity. And we are continuing to give out every dose that we have in stock, because no vaccine does any good in a freezer. We need to get it in arms, and that's been our process from day one. So we're seeing around Alabama and in neighboring states and across the country that vaccines are being more available at more outlets, everything from Walmarts and Sam's Clubs to pharmacies, and again, even doctors' offices are starting to get vaccine now that the Johnson & Johnson is out. So I would just, again, encourage everyone, if you are interested, which I hope you are, in getting the vaccine, sign up on as multiple lists as you can. Once you get the vaccine, take yourself off the other lists so that other people could get prioritized. But expect, now if you signed up at Auburn, and you did not meet one of the big risk groups, you're put into a group. You don't need to contact us. We know you're there. It's a large group, and we are, to make it fair, we are randomizing people out of that group and inviting them as fast as we get vaccine doses. We're inviting and randomizing people and inviting them to come get their vaccine. The university as an entity has its own set of situations that we have to address. And, the state has to make decisions for the entire state that is enforceable across the entire state. I think at Auburn, we're going to continue to look at, what the CDC says, what the Alabama Department of Public Health says, and then we're going to use that information plus our unique situations to make decisions as we go forward as to what the new regulations are for on-campus capabilities. We don't control off-campus, but we definitely control on-campus, and the health and safety of our people is our number one priority and has been. The answer is yes. It's obviously this particular virus did not start in Auburn, Alabama, so we've been impacted by everywhere else as people have traveled in and traveled abroad. The virus got here. Right now, there is a trend going on in Europe, in Italy, Germany, France, England, that is of concern. They're also vaccinating, but they're also seeing an increase in cases, and they normally tend to be ahead of us by 4 to 6 weeks. So we're watching them very carefully on what's going on. With Easter coming up, Obviously, a big concern, just like Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving was, and those panned out. We had the largest surge ever in the pandemic after those. I don't think people really sit back and realize that in January and February of this year, we had the most deaths due to the virus in January and February of 2021. And we're just in March. I'm pleased to report, the last few weeks we've had either 0 positive cases or just 1 or 2, which is a good thing. The bad thing is the sample size has not reached to the number where it's as significant. We have to get above the 750 and consistently stay there. Where sentinel testing really helps us is as the virus spread decreases and therefore the demand for acute testing. So people who want to be tested either because they have symptoms or because they've been exposed, that number keeps dropping. Sentinel testing becomes more important because, again, it's going to give us an early indication of if we're starting to see community spread before we actually see it. And that's going to be a determinant for what the summer and the fall is going to look like. It's going to affect events, the size of events, the frequency of events, everything from athletic events and Greek events and student organization events. All of those are going to be impacted. And if we don't have an idea of what that's going to be, we're going to make decisions erring on the side of caution, which means we're probably going to keep those event numbers and sizes and everything down. So until we see sentinel testing improve, we're going to make more conservative decisions.